Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, today you're going to find me in my canning garage. This is a garage that we partitioned off, and half of it is for my canning videos, where I share with all of you all about canning. But today I'm working out here, and it's rather cold, as you can see my breath. But it's rather cold out here because we're going to talk about old-fashioned living. What does it mean to live old-fashioned? What are the stereotypes, and why is old-fashioned living something that's so dear to my heart? Does living old-fashioned mean that you're not in tune with the modern-day world? Not at all. Modern things really can help us out. But for me, I choose to live an old-fashioned lifestyle. So what does that mean? That means for me, I love oil lamps. I love hanging washout. I love all of these things that your grandma and your great-grandma probably did. You know, back in the 1800s and the 1900s, we all seen a different lifestyle. We seen a lifestyle that was a slower paced one. But old-fashioned living is more than just hanging clothes on the line and having oil lanterns and making homemade soap. Old-fashioned living is a peaceful way of living because you're not so engulfed in the modern day world and all the stresses that the modern day world gives us. Now, I am on social media, and so while I love to live an old-fashioned life, I do love to implement the new way of living and the modern way of living. But I like to create an old-fashioned environment. Even if I do some videos that you don't necessarily are interested in, I want to give you more of a picture of things of an era long gone. And old-fashioned living is just something that we can all implement in our lives. Now, not everybody will love to live the old-fashioned way. A lot of people love the modern life, and that's great. But for me, to find fullness and satisfaction, I'm in my element when I'm just living a very quaint, very peaceful, and simple lifestyle. So, old-fashioned living, baking your own bread and rolling out your own dough to make all kinds of projects, whether they're edible or unedible, these are the things that I enjoy doing. Spending time outside and just looking at the nature. All kinds of craft products that are nature-based and going out in your own backyard and finding things and making things out of it. So old-fashioned living for me is not only just a physical way of living, but it's also a state of mind. So how can we implement old-fashioned living into our lives? Well, here's some things that I've been doing. First thing that I'm doing is I'm really creating an old-fashioned environment. I'm going through everything that I own, and I'm trying to get rid of plastics. Now, I've used plastics in the past, but I really want to try to get back into using glass. Zero waste. I'm going to really work on not having so much waste here at my home. I'm also going to work more on an old-fashioned environment with candles and oil lamps and all those beautiful things. You can also use solar lights if you have animals or small children. I wouldn't recommend you having a bunch of oil lamps, but you can have solar lights that look just like oil lamps. They are replicas and they're solar lights. I'm going to be sharing with you in upcoming videos some solar lights that I have that you wouldn't even know that they're solar by looking at them. Another thing I'm really enjoying is at nighttime, there's old-fashioned radio programs. The old-fashioned radio programs from the 1900s. Oh my word, they're such a joy. You turn everything off and you listen to the radio and you can almost visualize the storyline. It gives you back your creativity because your mind is so creative. But so many times we're bombarded by visual things that our mind really doesn't have a chance to work. But when we listen to stories and things like that, our imagination can come to life. So I've been doing that every evening. I've been doing a lot of reading books from that century, from the 18th and 19th century. I've been reading a lot of books on what was the homemaker's job in the 19th century. It's really interesting. I'm really enjoying the homemaker's guide to 18th century living. And while a lot of it maybe doesn't hold too true to this day and age, a lot of it does. There's a lot of things in there that are really interesting, quaint, and I'm going to actually be giving them a try. I'm also going to be reading Fanny's diary a little more. My grandma Fanny from 1944, she lived a plain Mennonite housewife. She was a farm wife, and I'm going to actually be trying to live through her diary. some of her entries this summer I'm going to actually display. I'm going to do the same things she did in 1944. Really excited about that. I bet you can tell by now that I love history. I love bringing history to life. And so you're going to see a lot of that. You may not see as many videos of mine, but on a weekly basis, the videos you're going to see, I'm really taking a lot of effort into making them. And so we're going to be working on all kinds of old-fashioned ways to preserve food, old-fashioned ways to cook food. I mean, butternut squash, what do you do with it? All kinds of things like that. And I'm super duper excited. So we have Betty Crocker. We have her original one, and then we have the one from the 1970s. We're going to really work on a lot of recipes like that. You're going to see a few modern things in my life. Of course, I love food dehydrators, and I love things like that. But I got rid of a lot of the modern things about 6 months ago. I stopped using the Instapot or Instant Pot. I really didn't enjoy it for me. But I will use the crock pot because that really can help me out. And I do love my air fryer that I use every once in a while. But I'm going to get back into the old Pennsylvania Dutch cooking. That's what I've always known my whole life. My mother was a very old-fashioned kind of woman. She did things the way her mother did, living a plain Mennonite life on the farm. And so while she didn't do any canning and she didn't have a garden, she did do all that homemade scratch cooking that we are known for here in the Mennonite Bible Belt of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I'm really excited to share all of that with you. Old-fashioned is something that you can enjoy even living in 2021. And I'm going to share with you in tangible ways how you can bring back just a little bit of old-fashioned in your life. Old-fashioned living isn't just for us girls that are 50 years and older. There's a lot of millennials, a lot of young women who are actually looking into the old ways of living. They're finding great satisfaction and learning how to do things the old way. So there's nothing wrong with having things the new way, and there's nothing wrong with having things the old way, and we mix them together, and it's a great life that we can live. And I can't wait to share with you all kinds of things coming up here in January. Well, everyone, it's getting cold out here, and I need to put this book away. I need to bring it in the house, and I need to finish just cleaning up here. All of the things in my canning garage that you see behind me, I'm sure a lot of you are really enjoying looking what's behind me. I find it so fascinating that when I'm doing a video, a lot of times people will say different things they noticed in my video. I don't even think about it, but I'm sure you're all looking right now. What in the world is all of this stuff back here? Everything back here isn't just to make it look old-fashioned. I actually use everything in here. Everything is used in here. And they're in all of my videos from the past, and they're going to be in all of my videos from the present, because I want to teach you something. Not only do I want to teach you something, I want you to enjoy my videos for educational purposes and for entertainment. So I want you to be able to click on my video and you're feeling stresses of the day and just melt those stresses away, even if it's only just 10 minutes at a time. That's the goal of my channel this year, even more than ever, is that you just click on this video and you know it's going to be a video that it's going to transport you back in time. So many people say that they love seeing all the different utensils that I use and all of the different cooking things that I use and all of the old-fashioned things, like this ice cream scooper. A lot of people say when they see these items, it brings them back memories of when they were little children at their parents' home or their grandparents' home. And I love that. That is what my channel is about. My channel has always been about that. I'm going to implement it just a little bit more. I'm setting my bar just a little bit higher for the year of 2021 because this is my element. This is what I enjoy. A lot of times people will say, I don't know how in the world you have time to make these videos. Well, the interesting thing is, this is how I love to live. This is how I always wanted to live. My dream would be living into a really old home, a really old stone house. But you know, we don't all have our dreams, but we can make our reality wherever we are. I believe in that fully. I believe that you can, wherever you live, whatever you're doing right now, I think that there are things that you can do to implement your life and make them in a way that you want them to, just a little bit more. And who says you can't live old-fashioned in a 1963 double wide? And that's what I'm going to implement. I'm going to implement 1963 living from a mobile home. I mean, what was it like? What was it like for the people who brought this mobile home in 1963? What was it like? Because my kitchen and everything is original. Can I live like they did? Can I use the same books that they used? Can I use the same utensils that they used? Can I cook the same meals that they did? I'm going to transport myself back into time to 1963, 1923, and just even a little of the 1800s. So my friends, get ready. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be joy and happiness and a lot of history and a lot of old-fashioned living in the modern day world. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys real soon. If you found value in my content, would you consider subscribing to my channel? By subscribing, you're letting YouTube know that my channel is one of value and purpose. If you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. Can you do me one big favor? Can you make sure you're still subscribed? See you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.